Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a Tuesday night. Yes, we had to play a little bit of Family Feud music. For those of you who don't know, we auditioned for Family Feud Canada last night. So,
At this time.
yeah, exactly at this time, we had just joined the Family Feud Zoom room, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that. We'll get more information, and we'll share that along with all of you as soon as we get it. We got to find out if they picked us or not. So now it's up to the executive producers to think to hopefully find that we were a fun family. I think we're pretty fun. So thanks everybody. Good evening, all you amazing Kickstarters, and welcome to our Tuesday night chat. As you know, I'm Jean-Luc.
I'm Nick, and we're so glad you joined us for day 37. And we can already feel the growth happening in this community. I love all the posts that you see on the dashboard now with the new additions.
You know what I'm loving too is you guys are so self-sufficient now. It's insane. Like, it's crazy how you guys all help each other out, and that's what we've been dying to see.
Well, I got the same
And
post.
you guys are doing it.
I got the post a walk selfie in the on there today.
I was
walking, I took a photo, and I posted it right away. And I was like, "Look, it was easy."
That's amazing. So it's just been absolutely so much fun, seeing how we've all been, doing our own thing, but doing it together in a way. And it's been really nice. It feels comforting. And as much as you don't think you are where you want to be, maybe you are where you need to be. That's where we have to look at things.
So first things first, as we had said, 52 of you, I think it was 52 or 56?
56.
56 of you had diamond status as of June 1st at noon. I did go back and add anyone else that did it in the last 2 or 3 days. So if you did it in the last, before you like not today, I didn't do it today, but the day before, I did add everybody. So there's 56 of you, and we're gonna pull right now our winner for May for our new test for the $15 Amazon gift card.
Yes. So going forward, as you all know, instead of doing it at the end of the 6 weeks, every month, one winner at diamond status will have the opportunity to win a $15 gift card. And it's Marilyn Finney who won this time. So congratulations, Marilyn. However, don't forget, we still do our any type of Tupperware things. All that stuff will remain most likely the same. Actually, we'll probably just have parties throughout and draw multiple winners at that set. So keep tracking all of your classes, all of the sessions, the step classes that you do. Track everything.
To get into your June contest, all you got to do is keep tracking.
All you need to do is track number one, technically.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you got to do.
If you're going to track number one, you might as well track all other 9. You're already on the website, right?
Exactly.
So, and I've been reading the Atomic Habits, and one of the things about tracking, it's creating, even if you don't do it, but if you write it down, it makes you think about it. And that's what we've been saying all the time. So it's kind of cool to read a book that's very similar to what I'm already doing, which I love.
And yes, yesterday, finally, the Amazon gods said, your book finally fits her requirements. Approved. And is now being sold after 20 days of I know, people posted. Lynn, how thick is it? I want to see it. It's a pretty substantial book, right?
Big book.
Oh, what's that? Oh my God.
It's like a child's coloring book.
It's a large novel.
Do you remember those kids' coloring books? Those jumbo coloring books? That's what it looks like. It looks like a jumbo coloring book.
So for those of you who want to get your Kickstart Part 2 book, what's in it is every single day from June 9th to September 21st. So you will have a spot to track every day. Keep tracking your commitments. Your daily guide will be accessible from your book, just like you've been doing now. You can use your phone to access today's daily guide. So the same kind of concept is just all tracking. There's no beginning anymore. It's literally just tracking for you guys. And so the same thing is going to be done in the fall. In the fall, there will be a 100-some-day tracker coming out for the entire fall Kickstart. And then we'll create a new book called the Starter Guide Kits that people who are new will purchase to learn how to use Kickstart.
Yeah.
So you guys that are veterans, you guys won't need to get that anymore. You'll just be getting a tracker going forward. So we're actually going to start working on those right after this. So
definitely. Again, just to reiterate, we did try looking into seeing if we get a different
it's not
location.
Possible.
It's just the amount of work behind it. It would just be so challenging for us to do it because nobody sends it directly to you like Amazon does. So just to keep that.
It's also the cheaper option.
Exactly. Yeah. Because all the other options were way more expensive.
Like one of them was like $117 to print.
No. So on that note, also don't forget that
Step. We did Step.
Oh yeah, we actually did Step at 5:30 today.
Yay.
I'm proud of us. we said, let's not do basic, let's do advanced. And we did an advanced step class, which was very, very good. Actually, we miss it. We do miss it. It's just
we
these
can't.
mornings right now we're struggling, and we need to figure something out to get up in the morning and get ourselves out of bed.
And I can't go to bed at 8.
No,
this finishes at 8.
We can't go straight to bed.
I just can't.
Our
My brain
just doesn't function that way.
Exactly. So I don't know. And it's really hot in our condo right now.
Right now.
Lynn and Mom, you guys are gonna sweat a little bit.
No, she loves it warm. They like it warm.
They don't. We all hate it warm.
Yeah, we all hate it warm.
Yeah, we'll have fans.
Yeah.
We'll just have people here going, oh my God, Lynn, I love you. You're amazing. You're your biggest fan. Anyway, so now let's head to tonight's session. We are thrilled to welcome back Kickstart favorite Tracy Frankland for her 3rd session in her transformational 4-part series.
So Tracy's not only a nurse, okay, she's a fitness instructor, she's a cancer coach, she's a breast cancer survivor. She's also has a podcast, she's an author, and she's also the kind of person that has energy that lights up a room, even over Zoom. She's been in the medical field for over 30 years, and that includes in working in trauma in the trauma center in Toronto. And she now helps cancer survivors reclaim their lives through her 3-pillar program, focusing on the mind, body, and soul.
We've loved learning from Tracy's first 2 chats on how the mind works and dissolving negative emotions. So those chats are recorded,
available,
and they're still on YouTube. So if you want to go look for those, just look for Tracy's name and our name, Jean-Luc and Nick and Tracy.
Maybe it'll reappear sometime this summer for you to watch.
Oh, it's in the fall.
Oh, that's in the fall.
Honey.
Never mind. That's part of the fall.
Yeah. So tonight we're gonna shift gears to do something deeply personal and powerful, and how to love yourself.
And basically, this one really hits home for so many of us, right? Because if you've ever felt disconnected from who you are and your own self, if you've ever struggled with confidence, if you've ever struggled with self-worth or finding who you are within yourself, maybe tonight is the perfect place, and this is exactly where you're supposed to be.
So Tracy will guide us through a journey of self-discovery and self-acceptance, and she's going to remind us why falling in love with yourself isn't selfish, it's essential. When you build that love from within, everything else, your relationships, your choices, and your goals begin to align in ways that feel better and truer.
And just think of it this way. Tonight's not just a chat, okay? We don't want you to think of it just as a chat. Maybe think of it as a reset. It's a chance for you to reconnect with yourself, with you, and anything inside of yourself, and really find out who you are and get rid of that noise, get rid of the criticism, get rid of the pressure to be perfect, because guess what? Perfection doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
So let's get comfy. Let's take a deep breath and open our hearts for the session ahead.
And let's
welcome Tracy.
Tracy. Thanks so much.
Hello. Thank you, everybody.
You know, we're excited about Tracy too, which we realized
we're going to see you
in 2 weeks at Rustic Mama.
I know. You better be coming to my pound and my Kangoo class.
Teaching.
We're teaching. Because we're teaching.
We're instructors.
Well, we'll have to play.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for having me again for round number 3 on learning how to love yourself. So I'm just going to share the screen. Okay. I had technical difficulties last time. So can you see the screen? I hope it's okay.
We can see the screen.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Woo! All right. So today is about saying, dear me, I love you. Let's break up. Never break up again. Because self-love is about self-discovery. And as Jean-Luc Nick said, this is who I am. You can also add a new prerequisite that I just got was my holistic perimenopause and menopause coaching certificate as well. That's a new addition. And I'm also working on my GLP-1 certification as well. So those are a couple of little things that I've added to the repertoire since we last chatted. So before we get into all the heavy stuff, we are going to all stand up. If you can, you don't have to. We're going to sit in our chair. We are going to dance. So I'm going to play some music for you. Oops, hang on. I don't want to do that. we are going to dance to a song, and the idea is do whatever feels good.
I do my hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Woo, child, tired of the bullshit. Gone, dust your shoulders off. Keep it moving, yes, Lord. Trying to get some new shit in there. Swimwear, going to the pool shit. Come now, come dry your eyes. You know you a star, you can touch the sky. I know that it's hard, but you have to try. If you need advice, let me simplify. If he don't love you anymore, just walk your fine ass out the door. I do my hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Feeling good. Baby, how you feeling? Woo, girl, need to kick off your shoes. Gotta take a deep breath, time to focus on you. All the big fights, long nights that you've been through. I got a bottle of tequila I've been saving for you. Boss up and change your life. You can have it all, no sacrifice. I know we did you wrong, we can make it right. So go and let it all hang out tonight. Cause he don't love you anymore. So walk your fine ass out the door. And do your hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? And we gon' be alright. Hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Yeah. Alright. Listen, if he don't love you anymore, then walk your fine ass out the door. And do your hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Feeling good as hell. Baby, how you feeling?
Nice. Awesome. I will just stop sharing that screen. Wonderful. All right. We'll come back to here. How did that feel? Did you let yourself go, or did you wonder, is anybody watching me? Is anybody looking at me? If you were thinking to yourself, is somebody looking at me? It's time to learn about self-love. Hang on, I'm trying to figure out why my screen is not going. There we go. So my journey for self-love was not an easy journey. Growing up, I was constantly ridiculed for how I looked, because to other people, I did not look like the standard. So one of my nicknames growing up was Frankenstein. And I share this journey because when you are ridiculed like that, even by family, your self-esteem decreases and you don't know how to love yourself, because everybody outside of you is telling you you don't deserve love, you're undesirable. But here's the truth. Today, we're going to start rebuilding your self-love. So I just wanted to bring this back from one of our previous sessions about the thought loop, because the thought loop and how external events and thoughts and opinions then become our belief. And when we believe those things, like the belief that I was ugly and undesirable, that creates emotions, which would have been sadness. And that then changed my behavior. So what ended up happening was I became a people pleaser. I wanted people to like me so badly that I would do basically anything to get them to like me. And so my behavior changed. And then when I didn't put myself out there and I hid away, that became my current reality because I didn't feel deserving to be liked or loved. So how do we learn to love ourselves? Self-love is not just bubble baths. It's how we treat, talk to, and show up for ourselves daily. Self-love is an ongoing practice of treating ourselves with respect, kindness, and care that you naturally extend to people around you. It's not about being perfect, like Jean-Luc said at the top. It's not about being narcissistic or selfish. It's about being deeply connected to your worth, even when you're growing, even when you're healing or having an off day. But before we go into the how of self-love, we first must look at self-compassion. The one thing about life is hard. And the inconvenient truth is that if we live long enough, we're going to experience pain. Most people are very uncomfortable with self-compassion because acknowledging your pain is or could be seen as a weakness to other people. So it's easier to have self-compassion for other people, compassion for other people over ourselves. But we have to start to learn how to give ourselves that same genuine kindness and caring that we would give our family, our friends, our children, our pets. Because acknowledging our pain and treating ourselves with genuine kindness and caring is all about self-compassion. So according to Stanford University, self-compassion is being kind and understanding when confronted with personal failings, honoring and accepting our humanness, comprised of self-kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness. Self-compassion is valuing one's own pursuit of happiness and aversion towards suffering and behaving in accordance with those values, transforming negative thoughts, habits, attitudes, and emotional biases. What self-compassion is not is self-indulgent. It's not feeling sorry for yourself or self-pity or ruminating on personal entitlement. Example would be what the self lacks or deserves. Self-compassion is a sort of a paradox. It is not really about focusing on self, but about considering oneself as the one of the sentient beings among all others towards which it is worthy to dedicate one's own energy to the avoidance of suffering and promoting happiness. So self-compassion, in a nutshell, is being kind and understanding to yourself, but it isn't self-indulgent or feeling sorry for yourself. There are building blocks when it comes to self-compassion: acknowledging the wound, being human, disarming the critic, holding ourselves kindly, making room for your pain, and seeing yourself in others. So when we acknowledge our pain and our hurt, we need to notice and name those difficult thoughts and feelings and triggers. So for example, you would say, if I'm feeling like I'm not particularly pretty today, I would say, I am having the thought that I am ugly. Or if your thought is saying to your body is ugly, then you would say, I'm having the thought that my body is ugly. When we just say, I'm ugly or I'm undesirable, it really cuts to the core of the pain. But when we take the sting out of it by saying, I'm having the thought that. So that's one way, and acknowledging the wound helps us to be able to work through what's really going on. When we're human, our pain is natural because we are human. You're human and you care, and that's why it hurts. So allow yourself to be human and not stuff things down into the pit of your stomach, never to be seen again. Disarming your critic. So according to Russ Harris, who is my mentor, he's a world-renowned ACT therapy therapist. He says, when we fail, get rejected, or make mistakes, our mind's natural tendency is to beat ourselves up. So kicking us when we're down. So we have to disarm that inner critic, taking the power out of all the harsh self-criticism. So noticing and naming, like I said a moment ago, is one of those ways that we can disarm that self-critic. Or another way is we can say to ourselves, okay, mind, thank you for that thought, but that's not helpful. So then we start again being curious as to why that is happening. Why is that thought coming? And holding yourself kindly. So at the core of self-compassion is kindness. That is the basis. We have to talk to ourselves with messages of support and understanding. We can show ourselves kindness by gestures that we do for ourselves, like going for a long walk on a beautiful day, or deeds that help us through hard times, journaling, meditation. Those are things you can do to hold yourself kindly. And also, when we make room for our pain, like I said, we're not putting it into the pit of our stomach, we make room for it. This is also an act of kindness in itself. We need to sit with the pain. As much as it hurts, we need to sit with it. And like a port in the storm, when we sit in the pain, the storm will eventually blow over. And then we can come back to the present moment, and we can come back and be engaged with our world and our surroundings. And finally, seeing yourself and others. So when we see other people struggling as we are, this is that common humanity that Stanford University was talking about. It shows us that we're not alone and that we're a part of something bigger. We empathize. That's where we learn our empathy towards what they're going through. In turn, it helps us empathize to what we're going through. The next step in self-love is self-esteem. We need to understand self-esteem because it is another level to understanding self-love. So self-esteem is the sense of self-worth and personal value, shaping our thoughts, our feelings, and our opinions of ourselves. So it significantly impacts our decisions, our relationships, and our quality of life. So why is this important? Because self-esteem can affect our mental health, our relationships, and our personal growth. So higher self-esteem reduces that anxiety and depression, and it promotes more of a positive outlook, and we can manage our stress better. When we have healthy self-esteem, it fosters balanced relationships with mutual respect and effective communication. When we don't have a lot of self-esteem, we are more willing to keep quiet. We are more willing to not speak our truth because we're worried about what other people will think. And we're worried about, do I look stupid saying this? Do I want to stand up in this room and talk about this thing? And then it stops us from doing what we need to do, forging relationships, whether it's relationships at work, at home, wherever. It takes away that respect and that mutual communication. And personal growth. Self-esteem motivates continuous self-improvement and resilience, and encourages the pursuit of meaningful goals and dreams. When we aren't afraid of what other people think of us, and we love and respect who we are going to do things even if it means it might not work out, and that's okay. So there's also components to self-esteem. So cognitive component is all about self-concept, you. So it's the collections of beliefs about yourself, including your abilities, your traits, and your behaviors. So something you might say to yourself is, am I a good friend? Or I'm not good at math. So that's about self-concept. The affective is about self-liking and self-respect. So the emotional evaluation of your self-worth and your self-respect. So feeling proud of yourself for an accomplishment, or feeling kind of down when something doesn't work out. And behavioral is about self-confidence and assertiveness. So how self-esteem influences our behavior, including confidence and assertiveness, like I said, in social situations. So standing up for yourself, or speaking up in a room when you're not, you want to make a comment or you don't just agree with what's happening. Those are behavioral components of self-esteem. So there are factors that affect our self-esteem. Personality traits like optimism and resilience, they can bolster your self-esteem. Cognitive patterns are what we think. So negative thought patterns, right? Overgeneralization, catastrophizing, those can lower our self-esteem. But if we have positive thoughts, positive outlook, that also changes our self-esteem. Self-awareness. So regular self-reflection and awareness of personal growth can enhance self-esteem as well. Cultural and societal norms. This is a big one because in today's world, we value things that aren't necessarily valuable. Watching people on social media, which I'll come to next, about their success or beauty standards and behavior can impact self-esteem. So if you have a lot of followers online, for example, and in social media, and you're like, okay, I've got all these followers, they love me, and your self-esteem is going to go up. But the opposite is also true. If you've got people that don't like what you're doing and they don't like what's happening, your self-esteem is also going to decrease. And also with social support, you want those strong network supports from family, friends, and communities, because that will boost your self-esteem. And I always say to my clients, if somebody comes to your island and they don't support, love you, and are your biggest cheerleader, they need to get off your island, because that isn't going to bring you peace. It's not going to build your self-esteem and confidence. They need to go. So now we got to talk about self-respect. This is where we're setting the standard. So self-respect is the deep sense that you are worthy of dignity, care, and consideration, not because of what you do or how you look, but simply because you exist. It means honoring your values and needs, even when it's uncomfortable, setting healthy boundaries to protect your peace, refusing to tolerate disrespect from others or from yourself. It's not arrogance or entitlement. It's the quiet, steady belief that you are enough without needing to prove it. And speaking and acting in ways that align with your worth. Again, it's not arrogance or entitlement. You are speaking your truth. So why does self-respect matter? Self-respect teaches others how to treat you. If you're constantly overextended, you tolerate mistreatment, or silence your needs, others will follow that lead. So it builds your self-worth. So every time you make a decision that honors your dignity, even if it's a small one, you send yourself a message that I matter. It sets the foundation for healthy relationships. Without self-respect, we often settle for crumbs, whether it's in love, work, relationship. So with self-respect, we learn to walk away from anything that depletes us or kick people off our island. It's a form of self-protection as well. Not every person, space, or opportunity deserves access to you. Self-respect helps you discern what aligns with your well-being. So how do we teach others to not give their opinion, and how do you not take their opinion and make it your truth? We do it with boundaries. So boundaries are simply the limits, rules, or lines we set for comfort. So boundaries are a set of physical and mental guidelines that are established to help protect ourselves when we are around other people and in relationships. Healthy boundaries is an essential personal skill to help you thrive and communicate your needs. We have to set limits because it's vital, so others don't take advantage of you or manipulate you. So, for example, a person with solid personal boundaries will feel very comfortable saying no when asked to do something they're uncomfortable doing without feeling the need to apologize. Let that sink in. Everybody's boundaries are different. So once you set yours, show it to others and show them what you expect them, how you expect them to behave around you, and vice versa. So these are the different types of boundaries that you can set for yourself, depending on where you are in life. We have the physical boundary, which is your personal space, your body, your privacy. We have a sexual boundary, giving consent, sexual touch, into some intimacy and desires. We have material boundaries, giving or lending things to neighbors or friends, your financials and monetary decisions. Time is also a boundary. Limits on energy given to other people, how you manage your time. And verbal boundary, how you allow others to speak to you, what you feel is appropriate to discuss, because not everything is meant for everyone's ears. And emotional boundaries, thoughts, feelings, values, beliefs. How much are you willing to share with other people in your world? And if you're not, you set those boundaries. So when you understand your boundaries, you can better protect yourself from these boundaries being crossed. However, sometimes your boundaries can unintentionally be crossed. So if this happens, it's up to you to express your needs and boundaries to ensure that it doesn't happen again. So in DBT therapy, they use a technique, an interpersonal effectiveness skill called Dear Man. So it helps people resolve conflicts and respectfully and effectively. So the acronym can be broken down into two parts. So the DEAR, DEAR, describes what to do when setting your boundary, and the MAN, MAN, helps you to set the boundary. So when somebody comes to you and you need to set a boundary, when you're speaking with them, you're going to basically start with D, describe. Describe the situation simply. Stick to the facts. You don't want to have an opinion or interpretation. For example, you would say, well, this actually ties into the express, using I statements. So expressing how you're feeling by using that I statement. So I feel that the way you spoke to me right now is very disrespectful. I didn't appreciate the tone that you used by yelling at me while speaking to me. It's fact. That person was yelling. It's fact, right? You used an I statement so that you can tell somebody how you're feeling, so that they then know the line they crossed. Say what you need. Don't beat around the bush. Be firm and clear. I did not like the way that you yelled at me just now. There's no interpretation. I don't like that. Reinforce. So when somebody does something and be like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I was yelling at you. Reward them. Thank you for acknowledging that. Thank you for acknowledging that you did not, that you did that. And then man, to set your boundary. So you want to be mindful. You want to maintain your position and keep your mind on your goals. I don't want somebody coming in my house and yelling at me. If you do, you will leave. So, and you don't want to steer away from that because you want to be firm and clear. You want to be confident. Use your voice, body language, making eye contact. We want them to understand that we're not playing. So this is a way to do that. Now, sometimes we have to negotiate. And you're not demanding anything. You're asking for something. So be open to that negotiation. So, for example, if you have a mother-in-law that wants to come over to your house all the time and you're setting up a time boundary, you can come from this day and this day, and she disrespects that. You say, you can open up the negotiation, say, okay, this day does not work for me. You can come on this day at this time. So you're setting that boundary. Okay, I understand you want to come visit. You like to see me. Fantastic. But here's my boundary. Here's my time boundary and here's my day boundary. And that's how you can negotiate, because then she can come back and say, I'm not sure that day or time works. Can we do it on this day? So that is how you set boundaries. Because we want to respect ourselves enough to walk away from anything that no longer serves you, grows you, or makes you happy. We do this by learning self-compassion, self-esteem, self-respect, setting boundaries, and now finally, self-awareness. We need to know who we are. So we have to be aware. We have to have the ability to observe and understand our own thoughts and feelings, emotions, habits, and behaviors with curiosity, not judgment. It's like holding up a mirror to yourself and asking, what am I feeling right now and why? When we get triggered by something, we need to know what's going on. What do I believe about myself, and where did that belief come from? Was that a belief that I created, or was that a thought, belief, or opinion of somebody else? And am I in alignment with who I really am, or who I think I'm supposed to be? Because there's a difference. And self-awareness isn't about overthinking or overanalyzing. It's about noticing yourself with curiosity instead of criticism. It's the foundation of personal change, because you can't change what you're not aware of. So we have to start exploring ourselves. We need to know our patterns. These patterns usually come from early conditioning and protective habits, not because you're broken. Nobody is broken. The goal isn't to judge them, but to understand, what is this reaction trying to protect me from? And when you notice a pattern, you create space to choose differently. So it's that recognition of your emotional and behavioral patterns, especially the ones we do on autopilot, like, do I shut down when I feel overwhelmed? Do I say yes to things when I really don't want to and I mean to say no? Do I avoid mirrors because I don't want to look at myself in the mirror? Do I not like to be naked because I don't want to see how I am? There's a list of patterns we do on autopilot we don't even know about, and we have to start creating awareness around that in order to learn how to self-love. We have to understand that inner voice, because we all have inner dialogue, a voice that talks to us all day long. The problem for many of us, that voice is critical, it's harsh, or it's dismissive. So self-awareness helps you tune into the voice and ask, is this how I would talk to somebody that I love? Where did I first learn to talk to myself this way? And what might happen if I started to actually speak to myself more kindly? You don't have to love every part of yourself immediately, but you can start by not bullying yourself. Self-awareness turns down the volume on the critic and turns up the voice of compassion. And this matters because it allows us to catch those limiting beliefs, and then we can rewrite the stories that no longer serve us. So if we have somebody in our life that is so hell-bent on us staying the way we used to be, those are people that don't serve you, and they need to be out of your life. Self-awareness helps you notice your needs and takes action before burnout happens, before resentment sets in. And it empowers you to respond intentionally instead of reacting out of habit or out of fear, anxiety, etc. If your relationship with yourself were a person, what kind of partner would you be? Would you criticize her daily, ignore her needs, push her to exhaustion? Or would you listen, support, and encourage her to shine? Self-love asks you to become your own safe place, to show up for yourself consistently, even if no one else does. It means setting boundaries because you know your energy matters. It means speaking to yourself kindly, especially when we mess up. And guess what? We are all going to mess up. Listening to your needs, your physical needs, your emotional needs, spiritual needs, with curiosity and without guilt. And celebrating who you are now, not just who you're trying to become. And honoring your body, not for how it looks, but for what it allows you to do. You have to accept yourself. Self-acceptance is a fundamental aspect of mental health and well-being, and involves embracing all parts of yourself, including your strengths and weakness. It means recognizing your inherent worth, regardless of your achievements or imperfections. So it's not about ignoring your flaws, but understanding that they're a part of who you are. So you must accept who you are so that you can love yourself. And the benefits of self-love are so many, but here are 5. Self-love shifts that internal dialogue, your emotional regulation, and your personal boundaries. So when you consistently treat yourself with compassion and love and respect, it impacts how you feel, how you think, and how you behave, especially when you're under stress or adversity. Self-love reduces anxiety and depression because it fosters a positive self-image. It enhances your ability to cope with challenges and setbacks. Instead of looking at things at failure and plummeting into depression, we now are looking at like, okay, all right, I did that. Okay, let's learn from that. Self-love builds a strong foundation of self-worth and confidence, and it promotes healthier interactions by reducing dependency on external validation. And in a world where we have social media and all of these things bombarding us constantly, most people are looking for that external validation. But when you love who you are and where you are today, you don't need that validation to know your self-worth. It also leads to a more fulfilling and contented life when we love ourselves. When we love and accept ourselves, we are less likely to ruminate on mistakes. We're less likely to judge ourselves harshly and base our worth on performance or appearance. Self-love helps you respond to struggles with kindness instead of that criticism, which reduces the intensity and frequency of those negative thought spirals, that negative thought loop that I showed you at the top. It's especially powerful when paired with self-compassion practices, with self-respect, all of those things we've talked about so far, which research actually shows it decreases our cortisol levels, which is our stress hormone, and increases our emotional resilience. And self-love builds that emotional resilience because you don't see failure as a reflection of your worth. You feel empowered to keep trying instead of giving up. It gives you that internal safe space to land when life gets hard. So instead of turning against yourself when you fail, you offer support to yourself, which makes it easier to bounce back. It makes it easier to learn, and it makes it easier to grow. When you believe you're worthy, even in tough moments, challenges become growth. When you love yourself, you don't need constant approval or validation. This leads to clearer boundaries, less people-pleasing, more authentic connections. So instead of asking, do they like me? You begin asking yourself, do I feel good being around them? Self-love shifts the focus from performing for others to showing up for yourself. And of course, living that content, fulfilling life, which is what we all desire. When you have self-love, you are no longer constantly chasing worth or approval. You begin living in alignment with your values, and that's where fulfillment lies. So when you're kind to yourself, you're more likely to pursue what you love, because you're not worried about what other people will think of you. You're going to speak your truth honestly, authentically. You're going to say no to what drains you. And you're going to create space for joy, rest, and creativity. So here's something that a concept that I would like you all to think about doing for yourself. Taking yourself on a date. It's time to reconnect with yourself. And with this exercise, you get to know you now, today, not you from the past. So to learn who you are with self-compassion, kindness, your strengths, weaknesses, what you like, what you don't like, self-respect, and become aware of yourself, to do that, you got to go on a date with yourself. So here are some different ideas that I put together, and you can jot down ones that you think, and also do ones that you may not think you might like, because guess what? You might do it and love it. Like taking a bike ride, or having a picnic in the park, reading a book you've wanted to start, or trying a different author that you've never read before, listening to your favorite music, relaxing, writing a journal, or starting a blog, or going online, doing a live about your journey, nature walk, taking an online class or a workshop that you've never done, go stargazing. Whatever it is, the possibilities are endless. But what you want to do is you want to pick something that you enjoy or something that you've never done and do that. Go on a date with yourself. So plan a date. So you want to choose a date and time. Set aside that time, dedicate a few uninterrupted hours for yourself. So make sure that you're free from work, family, and other obligations. Decide on the activity, go through those activity ideas and make arrangements and plan the details. If you're going on a train ride, get those tickets. Gather all the materials if you need, or supplies, or whatever you need. If you're going on a picnic in the park with yourself, make sure you have everything. Because one thing we're very good at is saying later. I'll do that later. But when we actually get up and we do the things and we put the things together, then we're like, I'm going on a date with myself. And you want to set the mood. Dress comfortably, dress in something that makes you feel good, play your favorite music while you're getting the things organized, make an adventure out of it. And be present when you're doing this thing, whether you're spelunking or climbing Machu Picchu, be present. Focus on enjoying your company and the activity that you planned. And you want to avoid distractions like checking your phone and worrying about the tasks. Because taking time for yourself is essential for boosting that self-esteem, that self-love, and nurturing your well-being. Because when we're focused on everybody else in our life, we sometimes forget what it is that we like. And I remember many, many years ago, my own life coach said to me, she's like, what do you love? And I couldn't answer that question. I didn't know what I liked to do. I didn't know what I loved, but I could tell you what my husband liked, my kids liked, my friends liked, and everybody else liked, but I didn't know what I liked because I didn't take the time to get to know Tracy. And then I started taking the time to get to know me and learned what I liked and what I don't like. And now I'm able to do things and have dates with myself and not feel guilty at all. And I've learned a lot about who I am as a person and what I like to do and what I don't like to do, and my strengths and my weaknesses. And that's a fun adventure. So, conclusion is self-awareness, self-love is the ability to pause and really see yourself, not just your habits or emotions, but the stories you've been told and the ones you've been telling yourself. Awareness gives you the power to choose differently, to stop living on autopilot and start living with intention. When you pair self-awareness, self-love, and self-compassion, you're able to soften. You realize you don't have to earn that worth. You already have it. And you don't need to punish your past. You learn from it. You learn from it with grace. and adding self-respect, you begin to draw those boundaries we talked about that honor your energy, not just your obligations. And you begin to walk away from what drains you and walk towards what fills you. Self-love isn't a destination. It's a daily practice of coming home to yourself with honesty, kindness, and courage. You are not broken. You are becoming. And the more you show up for yourself with love, the more your life will reflect it back. So today, I want to give yourself permission to grow, to feel, to rest, to rise. And most of all, to come home to yourself, never to break up with her again, fully, freely, and unapologetically. Thank you.
I love it. I absolutely love this, Tracy. You always come in with such great ways to explain things and make us understand things in a different perspective. And I love what you said at the beginning is changing the way we say things, because we talk about the words that we use towards ourselves all the time, right? That's a
Yes.
huge, I love the I am statements, I am not liking the way I'm, you know what I mean? Not being down on ourselves for how we look, but knowing that, you know what, we're allowed to have those moments of looking at ourselves in the mirror sometimes and maybe not liking the reflection, but knowing that I want to be a better person. I want to be better for myself, not a way about how I look, but how I feel. Because a lot of times it's about how you feel and not what you look like. Because once you start feeling good, you start going, wow, I look good, right? And I love and the other thing that I love is the whole concept of making a date with yourself.
Yes.
What a great commitment to create for yourself. I'm going to go on a self-date once a week, something like that. Why not?
Yeah, learn, explore different things and learn about yourself and who you are. I would love to see a show of hands. Who's going to do date night with themselves? Are you going to do a date night, Lynn? I could see you.
She's like me. I'm gonna do a date day with myself. Actually, I did it where I went on a walk without Nick. We do everything together. But it was a really cool thing to go out on the walk on my own and go in the direction that I wanted to go to. Not that I hate going in the direction that Nick does, but you know what I mean? Sometimes as people, we tend to be followers instead of leading our own lives. And when you love yourself, you can lead your own life. Even with
100%.
a husband, children, friends, the demands of a job, you can still lead your own life and make your own choices and make your own decisions.
And boy, when you start living in self-love, it's amazing how the mind calms right down. And it's just feeling that peace and that fulfillment and that contentness that sometimes we miss because we're so worried and all these things in our head. But when you get to that place, now, is it easy? No, not easy at all. There are days where you will fall back into old patterns, but it's that awareness and that recognizing that, oh, wait a minute, I've gone back here. Oh, take me back over here. We like it over here better. And that's where the challenge of life happens.
Yeah.
And that's part of the journey. And that's part of the sometimes fun, sometimes not fun. But the reality is that's how we learn, we grow, and we move forward.
Yeah. And I was just going to say that it's the learning experience, right? If we didn't have the challenges that we were meant to face in our everyday life, we wouldn't grow. We would not grow. We would stay very stagnant. And guess what? The world would be a boring place and our lives would be extremely monotone if there was nothing crazy that happened.
100%. And that's the fun of life.
Yeah.
Right? The fun of life is doing all these things or creating experiences for ourselves. That's when we look back, one day we will all be at the end and you want to look back and go, God, that was a fun ride. So create that fun ride for yourself, create those experiences, and then you learn so much about who you are as a person, especially when times get challenging. But when we love ourselves and love and have that self-love, that self-respect, self-esteem, we can get through those challenges a bit easier. And we can then also recognize who in our life is allowed to be on our island, which I think is really important.
Oh, definitely. I think that is a huge one for all of us.
People off our island for sure.
Yeah, I could completely agree with that one. But you know what, though?
Yes.
Sometimes you just have to do that. It's sometimes the most challenging thing to do, but sometimes it puts you in the perfect mindset after that. And I'm saying the perfect mindset in the sense, you know what? You can believe in yourself and you can all believe in what you're doing because you're doing it right now, everybody. You're doing it right now, but now learning how to say it out loud, saying I love myself out loud. One of the hardest things ever to do.
Oh, 100%. Doing the mirror exercise. If anybody's done the mirror exercise, I can tell you when I did the mirror exercise and looked in the mirror for the very first time, I couldn't even look in the mirror. I kept looking away. And my life coach is like, no, keep looking at the mirror. Find one thing that whether it's your eyebrows. Oh, my eyebrows look great today, right? I love you. And say, I love you till you mean it. Or, oh, I like the way my eyes look today. They're really popping. Just pick one thing and say, I love you. And it's amazing the shift that happens when you actually can stare at yourself in the mirror and take away all those judgments and all those opinions and all that noise and just be like, I love you. And mean it.
Well, I love you, Tracy.
I love you guys too.
So if any of you need to contact Tracy, if you go to the dashboard, the information is already all there for you. If you go to day 37, it says follow Tracy and learn more. Website, social media, you can click on any of these to follow her on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. So just go to the day 37 dashboard. You can go there. If you have personal questions for Tracy, go to her website and find her email address and contact her through there because she doesn't have access to the dashboard. She has access to Facebook. So if you want to message her on Facebook, you can.
I'm on Facebook. Yeah, I'm all over Facebook.
But on here, she does not have access. So if you have questions for her, just use the links here to find her. And then you'll be able to actually contact her directly.
I love the name of her website too. Transform Me.
Yes.
What?
Play on words. Transform Me. Play on words.
Yeah.
And yes, Barb made a comment. The cats were being very cute. I was very distracted because the two cats were like fighting, and I kept feeling them bumping into me. So that's why I was like distracted for a bit. But thanks so much, Tracy, for joining us. We will.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely have you back for the fall.
I was going to say you're coming back. You don't have a choice.
You can't get rid of me that easily.
We're not going.
We'll have you back in the fall. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you guys.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
And we'll end the live chat. For those of you who want to stay in Zoom after, please stay. Just a few announcements. Thursday cooking. Jean-Luc's making spring rolls.
Spring rolls, all
dessert
spring rolls.
Dessert
I'm making a strawberry cheesecake.
Why do you have to use a
Because
quotation?
there's technically not much cheese in it, but there's some, a little bit.
So why are you using the
Because I
quotes?
feel like
Are you Joey?
I love me.
Are you Joey?
No, because it's technically cheese.
It's not. There's cheese in it.
Would you let me talk for me? You're not me. I'm making them. I am making cheesecake spring rolls and cinnamon apple spring rolls as well.
Yes. And next Sunday is our final Kickstart session. You know, the original, that's true. Final Kickstart session, because it's not really the final one. That's how you use air quotes, right? So anyways, on Sunday is supposed to be our final Kickstart session. But as you all know, Kickstart's been extended all the way to September 21st. So you're with us all summer. So this Sunday will just be a regular community chat. So we will log on. This is what's going to be all summer. We're going to log on, give a quick update about how things are going for us, how Kickstart's going for everyone. Then we'll shut down the Zoom and we'll have a conversation with all of you in a closed setting like we did last week on Thursday. So that's going to be this Sunday. And then going forward, whenever we have chats this summer, it'll be
Tuesdays.
It'll be Tuesdays, except for Canada Day.
Yes.
That's going to be a Thursday, but you'll see that on the dashboard.
Yeah.
And you guys could just use the same thing you've been using every day. The dashboard's all ready for you for the whole summer now. You can go every single day throughout the whole summer. You can type in day 63 and
Why
see.
do you say summer all the time? You say summer too much. They know it's summertime. Why are you saying summer all the time?
Is there something wrong with what I'm saying? At least I'm saying something correct.
Oh my god.
At least I'm
people.
not using something incorrectly.
On that note, I hope you all have a good night. Stick around Zoom and we'll talk. Yeah, you can see why they wanted us on Family Feud. We're feuding with each other, not with the other family.
That's what we do. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. We do love each other, we promise.